Yeah, I am originally from Chile. I have lived in Chile for many, many years and came to Europe in 1998. And so much of my collection are pieces called arpilleras that come from Chile, that were done during the dictatorship. The future name of the section will be Textile Narratives of Conflict, and it will be concentrating on arpilleras, quilts, and other textiles that have as a basis the narratives of conflict and the way women have experienced it during the conflict or the aftermath. The section will contain photographs, but also will document all the exhibitions in Northern Ireland or in other countries, as well as associated activities and workshops where women start making their own textiles, describing the conflicts they are living presently. Now, this is a typical arpillera, and an arpillera really means Hessian. So originally, many of the arpilleras were made on Hessian, or they were also done with the material of the flour sacks. So the women divided the flour sack into 4 or 6 pieces and designed and interpreted what they were living at the time. So this is a very typical Chilean one, in which they only use needle, scraps of materials, and a bit of wool in the borders. There is no machine, there is no other thing than the hands. Now, most of the arpilleras have the shape of this shape, and they represent the mountains that are the typical element of the Chilean culture. The whole country, the 4,200 kilometers, are crossed by the mountains, so it's a symbol of identity. And most of the arpilleras have also the sun in the middle as a political statement that the sun shines for everybody. And here you have an event. It's a time that the women did an action in front of one of the prisons in Chile, saying and demanding freedom to the political prisoners. And to one side you can see the police cars. They are not afraid of the police car. That was a constant during the struggle, to have the police there threatening and creating fear. Now, quite special in this arpillera is the use of the characters in both. One is a white character and the other is a dark-skinned person, showing that the people who look after the prisoners come of all social extracts and backgrounds. And the colors of this is meant to really give life and the context, and that the women are struggling to a better life. So that's the sense of the colors, not that the flats wear that color. Color is used from the scraps they have available, and if you look at this gray one, this is the material of the school uniform, so that was what was available at the time. And the idea of making the borders was to make sure that these pieces were not going to be used for something practical, that they would be a story, it would be a picture, and they would speak to the people about who see them, about what's going on in Chile, and bring out reactions and responses of solidarity. Now, this arpillera was made by a woman from Belfast who saw the first exhibition in 2008, and I invited her in 2009 to make an arpillera responding to the question, arpilleras that cry out. So what would you cry out about? And this event, the murdered people in the barracks of massacre had happened very close to the time. So she depicted really her position and her views about this event and the idea that the communities don't want it to happen again. And what she represented then was an action and a demonstration that took place in Belfast in front of the city council, and in which she represented the people who participated in different colors, because she said that people who live now in Northern Ireland and come from different backgrounds and cultures all united to say no going back. So that is a piece from 2009 and direct response to the first exhibition of arpilleras. In 2008, we had in the city of Derry a big exhibition called The Art of Survival, International Irish Quilts, a very huge exhibition that was sponsored by the Heritage and Museum Services of the Council, and INCOR documented and archived all the events and spaces that we used, because it went through the city from museums to galleries to community organizations. Since then, this work has expanded and we have documented 67 exhibitions, of which 37 have taken place in Northern Ireland and the rest around the world. Well, the body of textiles that we have recorded is around 300 at present, plus all the work of the groups that we have not recorded. This work has only been possible thanks to the steady and work of the staff at INCOR and CAIN that have taken the time and the expertise to record not only the exhibitions but all the paper materials like catalogues, leaflets, so that there is an account of the exhibition and the activities once they stop being exhibited. How did this start? Really, it started in an effort to document how conflict has affected ordinary life of families and communities, as I had worked for the Truth Commission in Chile and realized that the Truth Commission only documented the events of the tragedy, but the family had a change in their lives. So these textiles that were made in Chile were a testimony to those events, and also was an account of community life because the women did it as a group. So when living in Northern Ireland and asked how I could contribute or give ideas on how to work on dealing of the past, I brought them to life, and I went back to my original collection that dates from 1975, looking for pieces I had lent or given away to set up the first exhibition. Also because Primo Levi had said that there is no language that can really document the experience of a concentration camp or a violation of human rights. So the textile is an exercise and a way to do that. Now this site came live in 2008 at the time of the exhibition, and since then it's being used on a daily basis all over the world. And I think I can mention that because when people want to connect or want to ask or want to refer to what they would like to do in connection to textiles, they use the CAIN website. It has been also a way to set up future exhibitions because you refer to the catalogues, to the pages that are already there. I would say that there are 3 or 4 very outstanding things that have happened since the website. One is a site visit to Japan, where a small museum called Oshima Hako had a collection of Chilean arpilleras that they really didn't know the value and what it meant to have them. They had received them as a donation. So eventually connecting to the website and being able to put it in the context of other exhibitions, they invited me to see it, to catalog it, and to give it the value it had as a historical documents of a time of the dictatorship. The second relevant element has happened with the Victoria and Albert Museum in London, that is setting up an exhibition called Disobedient Objects, and through the website decided to ask arpilleras from my collection and not from any other person but that, because they could see the connections that were beyond the textile and that it made sense in the possibility of also documenting them in depth. So the Victoria and Albert Museum sent 2 of the curators to come and visit the collection, and the exhibition is going to start on the 24th of July, will be in London for 6 months and will tour 7 different countries. So the arpilleras will be out of home for a long time as part of a bigger exhibition. As I say, they are just a section. And the third thing happened just today, because when I opened the email this morning before coming, I had an invitation to go to Brazil to the launch of an exhibition that is the outcome of previous exhibitions and the request, if at all possible, that we would record as part of that exhibition the pieces that have been made about the present conflicts in Brazil. Presently, we are working on documenting in such a way that in the future the events and the pictures and the photographs and the catalogs can be easier accessed than they are at present. It's the wealth of information that exists that has invited us to make it available, and also to be able to put them in context and in comparisons between the different countries, and for people to be able to research from the website before having to ask questions or refer to specifics. The relevance of this archive is that it's not only the images that are recorded, it's the life of these textiles in the context of the exhibitions, with all what they produce at the time and they leave as a legacy. We have archives that document numbers of arpilleras or quilts, but they are not in the set of the experiences that they have promoted.